Sports Tonight analyst Richard Oliver joining us now. And Richard, MLB 2020 season is at the end of this month, and it will be here before you know it. Astros' new schedule just came out. 40 games against the American League West, 20 games against the National League West. And they kick off this season July 24th against Seattle. And then Houston, right away after that home series, will go on a 10-day, 9-game road trip during which they'll face the Angels, Diamondbacks, and Oakland A's. What are your initial thoughts about their new 2020 schedule?
You know, it's funny, you and I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, the idea that some teams, like if you're in the American League Central, you've got to take on probably one of the toughest divisions in baseball, the National League Central. And now the Astros are in kind of a favorable position in that regard because you're playing the National League West, which is the Diamondbacks and Giants and Padres, who are not very good. But there is that Dodgers team. They seem fairly solid, heading into the season. This is interesting. The Astros, when you look at the strength of schedule, and they've kind of, obviously the prognosticators have gone through it, the analysts have looked at it, the Astros are kind of right in the middle. Although every single game the Astros play this year, to what you and I have talked about many, many times, lots of drama, lots of discussion, everything. They're going to be playing they'll be playing a couple of opponents every time they get on the field. It's going to be very interesting for the Astros. But I like their schedule. I mean, I look at it, it's going to be pretty heavy down the stretch. I mean, they've got the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium in September. They're playing the American League West, which is going to be very tough in spots. It's going to be interesting. And I think the schedule is a sprint. That's what's just so cool about this is we're going from this marathon, this 26.2 miles to basically 1,500 meters, and it's going to be interesting to see how these clubs handle this with their pitching staffs and their rotations and all those kind of different things. It changes the whole dynamic of what you're going to see night in and night out.
You mentioned the pitching staff, and it will change the dynamic completely for all rotations. But specifically the Astros, how does this condensed season and these multiple back-to-back games and outings, how does that impact the Astros pitching rotation?
Well, theoretically, on paper, it impacts them very positively because, you look at Justin Verlander, Zack Greinke, both of those guys, veterans, former Cy Young Award winners. These guys are spectacular pitchers, but they're veteran pitchers, veteran arms. And now you're talking about maybe 15, 14, 13 starts on the season. That's a pretty good, that's good if you got an old arm. You're okay with that. And then here the Astros have Lance McCullers at their number 3. He didn't pitch last year. This guy coming off Tommy John surgery. He feels great. He feels like he could carry a workload. Now the Astros don't have to limit his innings because right now at the most, he would have 15 starts in this season, probably less than that. So all those kind of different things. There are question marks at the number 4 and 5 spots, maybe Josh James, some of these guys, but they're youngsters. They can go, and that's going to be subbed out. So whereas you have teams like the Dodgers and you have teams like even some of the Yankees that have very, very deep pitching staffs, they'll have 5-man rotations and be able to go all year long. The Astros, if they're feeling good, Verlander's a workhorse, Greinke's a workhorse, they could go to a 4-man rotation depending on some of their off days. So it's really interesting when you look at that. Again, this is all tactical. This is a brand new, we've never had a major league season like this. And so hats off to Dusty Baker and all those guys for figuring this out because it's going to be a whole new ball game.